Okay, so today we're going to talk about Fragment Flurry Jess. Is she good? Hey guys, come and join us at twitch.tv/TeamVASH. We stream 18 plus hours a day and we're the most active Save the World streamers on the planet, so come and join us and be a part of the team. Yeah, she is good. She doesn't rock my world. She's just a good, solid character. Nothing special about this one. She's got a Teddy, a Shock Tower, and a Phase Shift. It's a excellent arsenal of skills. Unfortunately, with the current patch the way it is, the Teddy has been nerfed into the ground. So the Teddy is super weak, super trash to your character. You're going to be very lacking offensively in the Teddy department. You're going to be leaning very heavily on your Shock Tower and your running and gunning. Because of this, I really like to use with shotguns for close range, high damage combat. Very effective, very nasty strategy. Phase shift, you'll see me phase shift constantly all over the place, constantly relocating, getting to a more offensive or a more defensive position, trying to basically disengage enemies who are attacking me and focusing on me. I'm always trying to avoid damage, never get hit, keep on moving all the time, dropping damage as fast as I possibly can to try to harness the full power of her fragments. So let's talk about what makes her her. She has the ability Fragment Generation. Now, as a commander perk, this means that every 13 kills that you get, you're going to generate a charge fragment. Charge fragments are very, very handy. Whenever you have one in your inventory and you use a Teddy or a Shock Tower, that ability is going to get a 30% reduction in the cooldown. So if you had a cooldown on your ability and you didn't have a charge fragment, then every 100 seconds you would be able to use that ability. However, if you have a charge fragment, you're going to get a 30% reduction, meaning that instead of a 100-second cooldown, you're going to have a 70-second cooldown. Pretty good, right? Like, that's a huge reduction. 30 seconds off of that ability, big deal. One third, is a big deal. The charge fragments are very strong. Now the problem with this character really comes down to the fact that Teddies are such an issue. Teddies are so weak because of the new nerfs that they're just horribly lacking. Unless you're using Trailblazer Quinn for the massive Teddy damage and attack speed upgrades, your offense is going to be extremely lacking in the Teddy department, which sucks, right? I mean, you're going to generate all these fragments just so that you can use more abilities, but these more abilities are going to be, kind of not top tier. So it's kind of a bummer. This character is definitely not the powerhouse that it used to be. Trailblazer Quinn is the new Fragment Flurry Jess. Fragment Flurry Jess is just something else. As long as you are killing like crazy, you're going to keep on generating tons and tons of fragments, allowing you to use more abilities. So use abilities, generate fragments, use more abilities, generate more fragments, etc., etc. It's a self-perpetuating killing machine. Unfortunately, it just lacks oomph. It lacks enough offense to be a real threat on the battlefield. Why bother having more abilities when you can just have stronger abilities? That's my argument. The fragment generation does not justify the massive loss in damage that you're giving up by not being Trailblazer Quinn. Trailblazer Quinn is the same character as this, except with a way better commander perk. So this character is by no means bad. It's still a good character. You're still going to be extremely aggressive, generating tons and tons of fragments to kind of power your offensive, just to power the offensive machine. But it's like you're kind of trying to patch a sinking ship. It's not. You're trying to get more of a bad thing. So it's not that great. It's strong, but for the most part, I find myself just running and gunning, using my shotgun, using my maneuverability on the battlefield to attack and disengage and attack again, dropping the Teddy turrets whenever they're available just for extra damage. trying to spawn camp enemy locations with the shock turret. The shock tower really cleans house, like really cleans house. If anything, this character is more of a shock tower specialist than ever before, just because there isn't really any great shock tower buffs. There's one character that gives a bonus to, to your skills, but all of the shock tower specialists are essentially the same, unless you're using a character like Wild Fragment Deadeye, who is designed to do more shock tower damage. That's really good, but most of the best characters can run with default shock towers with just your commander perks and do extremely well, just like she's doing here. We're going to go into the commander perks, right, or the support team right here, and show you what I run with. I run with the maximum damage that you could possibly put on a shock tower, since I feel like shock tower is like the backbone of any shock tower character. So you've got Static Cling. This is Wild Fragment Deadeye. He gives you a affliction damage, which deals an extra 50% damage per second for 3 seconds. So a absolute ton of bonus damage for your shock tower. Just insane. Absolutely insane. Then you've got Up the Voltage. This is a Shock Specialist AC's ability. This, just basically increases your shock tower damage by 33%. Very strong ability. That's pretty much all the good skills that you can find for shock towers. You'll have those on every single Outlander with a shock tower. So then we put all the rest of her abilities into the Teddy itself to try to make that Teddy better than it is, because it's currently really weak, and he decided to try some new stuff, and whether or not that worked out, it's up to you. But in any case, the Teddy, we have Bear With Me. This is Enforcer Grizzly. He gives you an extra 4-second duration on the Teddy. Really good extra Teddy duration. You have Berserker with Trailblazer Quinn. This gives you 30% more damage on the Teddy. Again, bolstering that Teddy damage. And then you have Ventura Ramirez rocking the Overbearing ability, which gives you 2 extra range, tile range on the Teddy, and up to 40% extra damage based on the distance away from the target. So this makes your Teddy do as much as it possibly can do, and hopefully be generating enough extra uses because of the fragment generation to make its existence worth your time. Overall, I'll probably never play Fragment Flurry Jess again. She's not the character that she once was, and she just does not have the straightforward bully damage that I'm looking for in a top tier world-class class. So because of that, she's going to be permanently on the bench for me. She just doesn't quite get it done. Trailblazer Quinn is the new queen of the castle, and she's taken over as the improved Fragment Flurry. Anyway, guys, the last thing is the team perk here. We got Preemptive Strike. Now, I decided to go all in with damage instead of healing. You could have went with Bio to increase your shields, but I decided to just be 100% offensive the entire game, just doing as much damage as I possibly could, killing everything as fast as I could to try to generate those fragments as fast as possible. This leaves me completely vulnerable without shield regeneration, without melee or without health regeneration, and the only thing that I had to lean on was my adrenaline rush if I actually got myself in trouble. Because of this is a super aggressive attack character, and it seemed to work out pretty well for me in most situations, although occasionally you have to build button up real fast to stop a blaster from ending your night. So we're going to do some Fragment Flurry Jess gameplay here. She is a extremely aggressive character. I like to build her as 100% offense and zero defense. You've got preemptive strikes, and preemptive strikes instead of bio. So rather than generating shields, she just generates even more damage off her first shots. whenever I'm using her. I like to combo my abilities off like pretty much in every single battle if I can, because she's going to generate fragments so quickly. She's going to constantly have a surplus of skills, so you're going to want to use your skills as often as you can. Because the more often you use your skills, the more often you're going to generate more skills. You get faster cooldown the more kills you get. So you throw this down, this kills like a whole area of enemies. Then you use the those kills to generate fragments, and fragments to generate more skills. Don't worry, Affliction will get that guy. I find a key with this character is to make sure that you teleport often. As often as you can. You don't ever want to let enemies get a bead on you. You don't have any ability to generate health or shields. So if you take damage, the damage is going to stick. Ooh, jeez. Another reason I really like using shotguns, because shotguns is extremely high damage, up close, personal. Wow, man, those smoke clouds suck. So bugged. It reduces the damage by so much more than it's supposed to. It's supposed to make them take less hits, not become immortal, unkillable gods. As you can see, it's pretty nasty. When you run in, you see a group of enemies. You can pretty much just drop Shock Tower and it will kill most everything. I mean, even with healing Death Burst, it's pretty merciless damage. The Teddy's not that impressive. His damage is clearly nerfed into the ground, but it tries to compensate by having just a lot of Teddies to utilize. Now, generally speaking, I find this character to be a fairly unsatisfying feeling character, because the effect of the Fragment Flurry's generation is not obvious and immediate. So even though the character is actually producing a lot of damage because of the volume of skills that it's using, it doesn't necessarily feel the best, because the Teddy feels so weak. Yeah, it's like I almost wish that this character was no longer using the Teddy. I feel like the Teddy is, without proper upgrades, the Teddy just doesn't do enough to justify itself. Exploding Death Burst is ruining my beautiful AoE. Alright, so the name of the game with Fragment Flurry Jess is Hyper Aggression. There we go. Okay, we're back in action. Situations like these, I find are just not optimal for Fragment. She's fighting a lot of big targets. She's better at wiping out tons and tons of small targets. So she's not really in her element right now. There are mini zombies and regular husks running around everywhere. She would really be in her element, because there's only like a select few. Anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe, leave a thumbs up, and comment down below if there's any other videos you'd like me to cover. Catch you guys next time.
So if you like this video, come check us out on Twitch. We Twitch stream 15 to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every single morning starting at 9 a.m. We'd really appreciate the support. We're working really hard to grow the Twitch channel, so come and check us out. Come help us grow and be part of TeamVASH. Thanks, guys.